It's May 11th and this is my garden update. This is one of my 2 potato boxes. I have 9 potatoes in each. I put the box out in February, filled it up, and then planted the seed potatoes in the beginning of March. Came up really nicely, and never done potatoes before, but looks like they're coming along pretty good. What will happen is, as they grow, I will hill up the greens. I'll throw more material in there and cover it up, and they'll send off shoots and grow more potatoes underneath. And then I've got an extra layer of board to put up there too, so I've got another 8 to 12 inches I can go up with more dirt, more potatoes. These are my green beans. I planted them 2.5 weeks ago. They took a little bit longer to come up because it was a little cooler than I would normally have. I would have waited until about now to plant them, but since I'm going to vacation, I'll be gone for a couple weeks. I didn't want to wait, so I put them in early. It was a little cold, so they took a little longer to come up. They're all starting to come up now. This is one of my 10-foot beds. I had planted onion sets earlier in March, put them in there, and then in the styrofoam cups are my tomatoes. I started those early too, and I decided to put them out in the cups. It's been warm enough I've been able to put them outside and leave them outside probably for the last 4 weeks. But I kept them in the cups just in case we have a frost warning. I can take them inside, put them on the patio overnight, so I won't lose all my tomatoes. I built these beds last fall, and I've got 3 layers in each one of them. I've got the dirt underneath, then I brought in some soil with compost mixed in. It's 35% compost, and then on top of that I had sifted the mulch I got and put that material on top, so that drains really well down into the soil, and then keeps the water from evaporating under there too, so it holds water really well in each of these beds. I'll be ready to pick these onions probably in another month or so. I did the same thing with my peppers. Put them in cups, put them out here. They're about 6 weeks, and what I'll be doing is in a couple more weeks I'll top them. I'll clip off the top leaves so they get spread out wider and get more bushy, and they give me a higher yield of peppers also. Over here are some leftover radishes I had from 2011. I decided to plant these out there early before I put my peppers. My peppers will go in this bed and the other bed. This is 8-foot beds. And so by the time I get back, it looks like I'm going to have a few radishes to pick. And then I will be setting my peppers out in the garden. This is my other 10-foot bed. I have garlic planted I put out in November. I'll be ready to pick that in late June, early July. And here's the rest of my tomatoes. I have 70 tomatoes. I've got mostly big beef, and I'll keep 1 cherry tomato. I've got their big cherry tomatoes and 1 pear tomato plant. But I'm going to be able to plant 40 tomato plants in both of these beds together. Here are my 2 6-foot beds. They're 3 by 6. I have peas, snap peas, or snow peas, and onions. And after I put the onions in, I put the peas in 4 weeks ago, and I transplanted the onions. But I read that you shouldn't put peas and onions close together, so we'll see how that works out. Doesn't seem to be doing much of anything anyway. And then I strung string across the poles. I've got electrical conduit here, and that gives me a sturdy support, and then I just strung the string across so the peas will climb up there. And I don't know how long they'll last, but if they don't stay all season producing, I'll pull them out and I'll plant some more later, like in August. Now I'll get 2 harvests of peas. That's my rainwater collector. I'll use that to water the beds over the summer. This bed has carrots, all carrots. I think I planted 1,600 carrot seeds individually all the way down. I've got 9 wide and however long it is. So those will be good. And then the rest of my onion sets, I planted 81 onion sets in these planters. And I'll be picking those out along with the rest that are already in those beds. So I'm going to get 2 harvests of onions this year. It looks like one of those onion sets is going to go to seed also. One thing I did differently this year is I enclosed the entire garden. The previous years I had 3 separate sections that I fenced off. And this year I just decided to go ahead and run it all the way around the garden to the other end of the house. So I started there, brought it over here, around the corner. And when I put this in, Denise asked me how's she going to get in and out of the yard, so I built this gate and put that in. And then go on down here to the end. And I had just enough fencing to reach from one end to the other. So this is a pretty good idea. It allows me to get around these gardens easier instead of having to step over fences all the time. And you do that and you catch your foot, pull the fence down halfway. Nothing good happens with that. So here's my garden. Here's a good look at it. This is going to be interesting to see how this works this year. I have some more peppers in the patio that are about 2 weeks later than the other ones. And I'll be putting those out later too. So that's my garden update. Back in a couple weeks.